okay, so we saw there, typically, as with smoking, it's taken us 50 years from the discovery of the link between smoking and cancer to actually, or it took us 50 years to get some really good policies in place by '05 or whatever, from 1955 to 2005. So there is this sort of inertia in the system and the avoidance of facing anything which is going to mean
I wish we had half a century to deal with this problem. We don't, unfortunately.
Yes. So let's pick it up from there, really. Trying to even get a consensus among scientists in public. They might have quite a lot of consensus in private, but even to get to that point, and the vested interests of business you were just talking about. So let's say a little bit more about that.
Quite honestly, I think we only get a consensus when around a problem when there is some sense of what the solution might be.
Yeah.
If you can't see a way out at the end of the tunnel, you don't go into it.
No.
And one of my colleagues describes this agenda as absolutely scary.
Yeah.
He's actually given out signals that you can't address this agenda.
Yeah, quite.
And that's really, I think, professionally unhelpful.
Yeah.
Yes, there are threats involved, of course there are. Yes, there are changes involved, of course there are. But we can deal with that. And I don't think we have a problem as a species actually solving the situation and changing it.
Yes.
The task is, one, overcoming the vested interests who have massive investment in not solving the problem, and at the moment are holding humanity and the life system on planet Earth to ransom in order to maintain short-term profiteering, whatever the consequences. That's a crime against humanity in my books.
And ecocide. And
ecocide as a crime against the planet, a crime against life on Earth.
Life on Earth.
That's
is
right.
more all-encompassing.
That's right.
The quality of life
Now,
on Earth.
however you do your ethics and your moral judgments, that use of profiteering in the short term to line the pockets of obscenely obese cats, not even fat cats, is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, and
as a response.
They're not able to take in the new information and actually digest
Well, as
it.
human beings they are, as institutions they're not. And I think we need to say very clearly that enough is enough in terms of the giving of power to the power elite to block problem solving.
Because a lot of people say, I can feel all this myself, but it's the system
when I'm
itself.
in the boardroom, I have to deal with the bottom line and the interests of the shareholders.
The system itself is...
Right.
Okay,
we're in a survival problem-solving situation, and those considerations are no longer appropriate.
Yes.
We want to do this together, and it means in the boardrooms of the energy companies, in the finance sectors that are profiteering from the energy companies, in the pension funds that depend on the income from the energy companies, in the political systems that depend on the taxation that comes from the energy companies. The whole gamut now needs to be assessed from the objective problem solving and saying our life support is at risk, we have to solve the problem, whatever it costs, because this matters more than anything else on Earth. And let's put this back in the melting pot.
Any technical solution?
Yes, now I think there we can begin to look at what are the solutions to the climate change problem? What are the solutions to the energy shortfall that we are inevitably going to engage as we do that solution? How do we survive the transition? How do we mobilize the motivation at a global scale within a sufficiently short time frame to enable those solutions to be put on the ground? And at the moment we are seeing all sorts of resistance, even to quite small changes in the economic situation. So there's a whole range of attention now to the detail of enabling very large-scale systems change across our whole civilization. And I think that should be best addressed in a whole new series of interviews, because it is so important that we get this right. What I will say is those solutions are there, they can be enacted, and what we need now is the coming together of all peoples in the service of common survival and the planetary well-being for the future.
And it's a whole system change. Although taking carbon out of the air through natural means, forests and oceans and so on, and through mimicking nature through, burning agricultural waste in certain ways to actually produce charcoal and lock up all that carbon that would have been returned to the air, biochar, and other ways of taking carbon out of the air through plastic sheets and then combining it with minerals to form calcium carbonate. All those
John, this is exactly why I said we need to put this into another series, because we will get into garbled, lots of little solutions to try and relieve the anxiety.
That's exactly my point, David. Yes. All these technical solutions by themselves are very much part of the solution.
Yes.
But by themselves, they won't be the solution.
That's right. Necessary and not sufficient.
They can raise hope a bit in me,
yes,
but not enough, because of all the whole system has to.
That's right. And it is the inertia and resistance to change in the human system and the human psyche that is the critical issue.
That's it.
This is where we have to mobilise the unconscious or recovery from the unconscious resistance to change in our human behaviour.
Absolutely.
In order to solve this problem.
Yeah.
So I think as we move on to the next series, we'll look at the technical solutions, the practical ways of getting them in, the psychological solutions, and the social structuring that is required to enable that to happen in the time scale that we need.
And your whole experience of working with learning organisations and global learning, as we're talking about now, it's going to be all part of that conversation.
There is a wealth of people around the globe with experience that can be coordinated in this field. Bringing it together, of course, with our whole new social systems, social networking, and dynamic cellular networks, and all the process of rapid social change that we're already beginning to see the fruits of in the Middle East and elsewhere.
Yes. And you see all the different social actor groups. We have even the scientists can't show consensus in these new areas that are really scary. They've shown consensus in others, but then you've got the politicians who can follow the scientists up to a point, but then they've got all that lot, and then you've got, you say, business as well, and then you've got citizens and just common knowledge that people may have in the community about these things, and they're way behind knowledge here, I think.
Yes.
And the media actually can distort all this. So you've got a whole system there of different social actor groups. And some of them are way behind understanding what the problem is.
And not just behind, but are also resistant, and actively resistant.
They don't understand there is a solution which will actually be a better way of life for all.
That's right.
Possibly. And that's what we've got to discuss next time.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
David, thank you.